Hello everyone, welcome to World Cricket Chat, and I guess you guys should know by now that I am Shruti Chopra and this is Suneer Chowdhary.
Yeah, they definitely know this is Shruti Chopra, but I am Suneer Chowdhary and we are World Cricket Chat.
They also know, if they know me, they know you.
Okay.
Or they know you, they know me
No,
as
it's the
well.
other way
It just it works. It works both ways. Fantastic. Congratulations, Suneer. We both got our predictions right for the India winning 2-1, the T20 series, the T20.
T20, I don't know why the I has shifted positions, but that was my first correct prediction on World Cricket Chat.
Congratulations. How many years did that take you?
It's taken me 2 years and about 3 or 4 months. It was a 2016 IPL that we had started our predictions. I might have got a few matches here and there, but in terms of a series prediction, that's the first one.
Super, well done.
Thank you very much. I'm learning from the predictor herself.
Did you give yourself a pat on the back? Good. That was it. But what I am extremely pleased about as an India fan is India won, and they did brilliantly actually.
They did 2-1 with the game that they lost was a close affair, even though England did win in towards the end. It was a comfortable win, but it did go down to the wire. But overall it was a decent performance from a side that was missing Jasprit Bumrah, that did not play Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Kuldeep Yadav in that final match.
What happened there?
Big surprise to me. Two schools of thought. One, it was a tactical call, very focused on that match where the grounds was the dimensions of the ground and the pitch was taken into consideration. But if it was just a tactical move, then I don't think it was a great tactical move, because we saw what Chahal did. Chahal was essentially one of those guys who controlled that scoring after the 6-over mark. After they had got off to a flyer, I think it was the highest score in the first 6 overs in England in a T20.
70 odd or something.
For no loss. And then Chahal came in, and those 4 overs was what brought India back into the game. And then obviously you had Hardik Pandya who took those 4 wickets. But coming back to the question, I don't know why Kuldeep Yadav did not play on that tactical ground.
Do you think that one error in that 1/4 over of the second ODI where he went, I think maybe
second T20.
Yeah.
Not really. I think, as I said, that the tactical move, I think, was incorrectly thought of, if I could say that. But strategically speaking, from a more holistic point of view, from a broader perspective, I think one of the reasons why he was not selected, one of the 2 reasons I can think of, is A, to not allow England to have a look at him, because there are ODIs coming up. There is a possible chance, which is my second reason, of Kuldeep Yadav getting into that test squad, and India doesn't want to allow England to have a greater look at him. You can practice all that you want on Merlin, which they did well after that. But even if I personally feel that even if England had not practiced too much on Merlin, it's a natural progression. You struggle against a bowler. You have played that bowler 2-3 times. You end up playing him better, and that's what happened in that second game. So tactically speaking, not a great call. I think Chahal proved that with his bowling and how spinners bowled on that pitch. Strategically speaking, from a broader perspective, I think that's the reason why. Some might argue you want to win the match that's in hand. You want to try to win the T20 that you're looking at to win the series. But sometimes you play for the World Cup. You start preparing for the World Cup, which is 1 year away. So that's probably one of the reasons why the management decided not to pick Kuldeep.
It was quite a shock there, and it took me a few overs to get over that one.
Well, the other point here is that I think that would have made sense had Bhuvneshwar been playing. Bhuvneshwar is your number 1 bowler, and now that you have Bhuvneshwar injured with a back spasm, you want some kind of experience, and you had 2 inexperienced seamers leading the attack along with Umesh Yadav. Well, Hardik Pandya sort of compensated for all of that and his first over yesterday, where he went for 22 runs. But it's a call that in the end worked out well for India, because India won the match. Had they not won the match, it would have been an interesting backlash.
It would have been, and you spoke of Hardik Pandya, and he has done consistently well with the ball. Even in this series, he hasn't got a chance. He didn't get a chance to bat in the first game there, but yesterday he took 4 for 38.
Yep.
He scored 30 odd runs. And how did Rohit Sharma get man of the series there also? I was a little
The
surprised.
second surprising decision, not something to really talk about, but I think Hardik Pandya did well in the entire series. The first two matches, he played his part with the ball. He was not extravagant. He was not picking up a lot of wickets. Picked up a wicket each. Controlled the runs in one of the games. Yesterday had a very bad start to his match. Gave away that 4 runs while fielding at mid-off. Gave away 22 runs in the first over, and you knew that there was a struggle on hand. There is no Kuldeep Yadav. You needed probably a 6 bowler to bowl, Suresh Raina to bowl. Kohli packed Hardik Pandya, and he delivered the goods. I was very surprised at the way England played towards the end of that match. Actually, the way they lost wickets trying to play those cheeky little dabs to third man, and Rohit Sharma played that same shot later in the match and got it really fine and away from the keeper.
Was the way India batted. There was Indian batsmen or batsmen mainly also from the subcontinent tend to be so elegant, and it looks like they do have all the time in the world.
Yep.
And I think even Virat was himself surprised with some of the shots that he was.
One of the shots that he played, Virat has been playing that flicky little helicopter shot over mid-wicket, over mid-on. And he has great wrists. He has been doing that through mid-wicket. But there's a shot that he had played in the previous match over long on. And it's a difficult shot to play, but you can still do it over long on. But to do it over the long off fence, to play that flick over... you can't even call it a flick, because flicks are usually through the leg side. When you play that flicky little helicopter shot, for want of better vocabulary, over long off to hit a 6, I think probably that is the one
his
that
wrists turned 360 degrees.
like Muralidharan had a shoulder and an elbow that turned all around. Kohli probably has those.
There are players who play 360 degree shots. Kohli has wrists.
Yes.
Probably that.
Your
like
Joss
that.
Butler does that as well.
My Joss Butler.
Oh, you love the towel dance. I
Thanks,
hear from
Suneer.
people.
That's just an absolute exaggeration and a figment of his imagination.
You did. You're the one who pointed
I
out.
was happy that Mumbai won.
Oh, it was a Mumbai Indians connection. You put it
Yes,
all down to Mumbai
But now
Indians.
he's not with Mumbai Indians.
He's no more. with
But
Mumbai
why
Indians.
do we get to Mumbai Indians?
Because
Suneer?
it's you.
No, because you mentioned
I
Joss
didn't.
Butler.
I didn't bring Mumbai Indians up.
Why
I
are we
mentioned Joss
arguing
Butler. Go ahead.
today? But I want to mention one thing that we somehow cribbed and complained about was the pitches in the UK, and these pitches actually brought out quite competitive scores.
Let's be fair. I mean, you're looking at yesterday's the third T20 international pitch. It was one where 225 might have been a par score. You don't want such pitches that regularly. To be fair to the broadcasters, to be fair to the board, 1 in every 3 matches, which is what happened in this series. There was a 149, there was a 159, 148, 159, and there was this pitch which should have seen 225. When that happens, you can still accept it. You know, every 3 or 4 matches there is one pitch. When on a regular basis, 200 becomes an easy target to chase. But the problem here is all 3 matches, the team batting second won. Now, you also don't want to get into a situation where toss becomes that overbearing that every time a team wins the toss. We saw that in the first 6 or 7 matches in the IPL as well. Teams win toss, they elect to field first, chase down whatever score. It was getting very predictable. You don't want that to happen, and I hope that doesn't happen during the ODIs. That to set a target is much more difficult to chase one, and you don't want that to happen.
So speaking of predictions, before these matches were happening, I would take out my cards. I was getting into the mode of the ODIs and the tests, and that's exactly what was coming up. That the batting was looking brilliant, and what was interesting was that there was this sign that India would come back with the ball, and if you see that they did do that in the second and the third T20,
yes,
they have managed to somehow, there is something in them. You can't write India off.
In fact, it's both the teams, India and Pakistan, and I deviate from the topic a little bit. We saw what happened in the Zimbabwe tri-series where Pakistan won that final against Australia, and they had lost to Australia in the first game. You thought that it was your typical Pakistani side against a tough opponent, they would crash. Now, Australia is not a tough opponent at this stage because they're missing 5 or 6 of their players, but they did have the bowling to try and test out Pakistan. But in the final, Pakistan beat Australia again thanks to Fakhar Zaman. And yesterday it was Rohit Sharma, again an opener. You had a 90 from Fakhar Zaman yesterday and an opener scoring 100. In the first game, you had a very similar thing happen where Aaron Finch had scored a century and KL Rahul scored a century on the same day. If something very similar was going to happen yesterday.
Very brilliant centuries by both players, Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul. One I think of 53, the other of 54 odd or something, and very similar.
You give Rohit Sharma a flat track and he will murder you. That's to suggest nothing else. But yesterday's track was something that was tailor-made for a batsman like Rohit Sharma. And he came good. And we will see that happen at Trent Bridge again. In all probabilities, batting first or second, Rohit Sharma sees off those first 4 or 5 overs. You expect a big century from him. Not a century, a big century in that first
Touch wood
ODI.
then.
This is just a prediction. This is not me hoping for anything, but that's what's going to happen in that first ODI. The second and the third matches might not be as great. They might not have as great a batting pitch as the first one at Trent Bridge, but expect a 400 versus 400 kind of a score.
So now that you've touched on the ODIs, looking ahead at least for England, I mean, we were discussing this earlier, they're not such a fabulous IT20 team.
Their record since that World Cup final loss to West Indies in 2016 at the Eden Gardens suggests that they are a far better side in the ODIs than they are in T20 internationals. 7-10 win-loss record in T20 internationals. Plus, when you add what happened in Australia and New Zealand, they did not have a great try-series, again a T20 international. And we saw what happened in this series. So all that is a pointer that this is still an England team that doesn't do too well in the T20Is. But an ODI England side is a very different side. Whatever people may say, Australia was a second-string side. They've not been playing tough opponents. They won 5-0 against a team like Australia. And it's not going to be easy for India. My prediction at the start of the tour was 2-1 England, and that's to do with the way England have performed. I also said something else. England in ODIs, if these are what the pitches are going to be for the World Cup, they're winning the World Cup 8 or 9 matches out of 11.
It's coming home?
That would be something, actually. England winning the Football World Cup and then the Cricket World Cup.
Right, let's just
Or
see.
Winning nothing at all.
Yeah, let's just get to there when we get to there. So you're sticking with your prediction 2-1?
Yes, I think 2-1. But coming back to England's, and we'll get to your prediction. I think your prediction is more important than mine. But coming back to England in the T20 internationals, I think the problem that they have is that their middle order is not as potent as their top order. You have an Alex Hales, a Jason Roy, a Joss Butler, a Johnny Bairstow. All 4 of them are top order batsmen who have struggled down the order. So how do they fit in 4 openers in those 2 slots, and how do they play the remaining 2 players at number 4, 5? Ian Morgan not in great form. Joe Root dropped. Ben Stokes came back after a great innings in the Vitality T20 Blast match as an opener. But that's the problem, that middle order, yesterday they should have scored 230, as we've been saying, 230, 240 in fact, if not more. But that's their problem, that their middle order hasn't delivered. That's problem number 1 for T20, which will not happen in the ODIs because Bairstow is going to be opening, Butler is going to be batting down the order. The second problem has been their bowling. It has been one of the second match, in fact, was an aberration because of the way they bowl. They bowl those lengths, hard lengths, shot a good lengths, and made it difficult. But once you know that that's going to happen, you can prepare for it. Probably that is what happened in the third match. The bowling is not so potent, and that will be a problem even in the ODIs. When you have 2 problems in a format like T20, then you are bound to lose matches.
So we'll see what happens in ODIs. So quickly, I have 20 seconds there.
Your prediction.
My prediction, I'm sticking to 2-1 India, and I think you're sticking to 2-1 England.
Why do you change predictions when your prediction has come right?
So then why ask me again?
Well, I was reminding you to remind everyone else.
Yes,
that's
it's 2-1
There's a good
me,
chance
India,
people have not.
2-1 Suneer. So that's really about it, right?
Yeah.
With our predictions.
That has always been about it with our prediction. But I made another prediction. Rohit Sharma in that first match. You're looking at a big century if he survives those first few overs.
And I've done a touch put on that as well. So, but that's really it. And hopefully we will be back right after the ODIs and to even preview the tests.
And if you don't know this, we have an Instagram channel on which we put up a few IGTV videos, World Cricket Chat IGTV videos. So do have a look at them.
Yes, I'll put the link of it below. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.